Discord, and today I'm going to be redesigning Poppy the Performer. Now, Poppy the Performer is technically a children's show, as in, it was originally made for children, but it doesn't mean it's meant for children. It takes the comedy of old Tom and Jerry cartoons and then dial it to an 11. The show was originally made by a couple named Ryuji Matsuda and Wakako Matsuda, and a station called Kid Station nonetheless asked them to make a TV show. They didn't specifically say what the show is allowed and what's not allowed to be in the show. They just tell them, hey, make us a show. So the duo did. With a budget of $1,000 per episode, they were able to make a show based around a young boy who is a circus performer who also is a professional sociopath. And that sociopath's name is Papi, the main character and also the title character of the show. I first discovered this show when I was 17, 18 years old, so I wasn't young enough to be traumatized by this show, but damn did it instilled in my brain of the wonderful expressions that Poppy always made when he is about to murder someone, or is about to be murdered himself. But nonetheless, I fell in love with this show. With only episodes about 5-ish minutes each, it held my attention with its very, I wouldn't say outdated, I would say almost nostalgic animation style that I grew up watching, like Toy Story. And I think it's the early 3D animation that also got my attention because it's a very nostalgic feeling to me, as I already explained it. I just love how almost the Uncanny Valley matches with the vibe with Poppy the Performer. And being an artist myself, I have a few ideas, mostly designing the main characters in a way that doesn't hurt my eyes with very bright colors that this show has a lot of. And I'm not bashing the creators for it. This was a kids show. Of course there are going to be lots of bright colors to get these kids' attention, but I am an adult in her early 20s. I don't want to go blind. Correction, I don't want to be any more blinder than I am right now. This wasn't really intentional, but I realized in the making of this video that it was International Clown Week, which is perfect matching with this show's main character, which I am going to make him into an actual clown. Because I have some beef with, not beef, but just beef with the creator. Not because of anything he did on purpose, but it's mostly a translation thing. Now, I understand Japanese. I studied Japanese for 2 years. But you don't need to know Japanese when you listen to the theme song. He is called Poppy the Clown. And you're already thinking, wait, isn't the show called Poppy the Performer? I know, which is kind of twisting my arm there, but I don't blame them. It's just a translation thing. Until I looked up in the official manga of Poppy the Performer, where he is listed as a jester. I could forgive the translation between clown and performer. Clown is a very foreign word in the Japanese language, and I would understand it was for the song lyrical sake, but then you go on and name him as a jester? So which one is he? Is he a clown? Is he a performer? Is he a jester? Or is he just a monster? The correct dictionary is monster, but that's not the main point I'm making. So I just simplified it for him to be a clown. Now, when I first saw his design, I thought like, OMG, a cute bunny boy, because he has bunny ears. And then I realized, wait a second, bunnies don't have tails like that. So he was a bunny cat boy, and then the hands are very confusing for me. Like, he has kitty cat paw, but he's a human, so where do the rest of his fingers go? Do they just go into like a pocket dimension in those cat paws? I mean, like, I don't want to study this boy's anatomy to figure that out, so I just gave him regular hands for my sake. And aside from the bunny ears and the cat tail that kind of confused me, is mostly the jumper. I know animation back in the late 2000s, late 90s was very limited, but you could have at least gave him like a little ruffle. You gave little ruffles on Pappy's wrists, so why couldn't you make more on him, the main character? He should be getting attention as well. So I looked up old clown costumes from like the 50s and 60s because Japanese clowns tend to be a little bit more old-fashioned and simpler, aside from the American idea of a clown, which is like very bombastic, big everything, which is very in line with the American culture. But other than that, I gave him a clown collar, a more clownish jumper. I took away the bag because that was a bit distracting for me, and plus it's much funnier when he takes things out of nowhere, like Hammer Space. Plus it's a cartoon, Hammer Space exists. I also gave him some clown makeup based on that one expression he made during the Limbo episode. It kind of stuck with me, as you can tell from his eyeshadow game. I gave him more clown makeup. Underneath all that, he is a boy. Probably not a human one, but still a boy. It makes him feel a little less human when you don't actually see his skin color. As you can tell, I gave him pink gloves as to match with his bunny ears. And you don't see it in this photo, but I kept the cat tail. It's very charming because it kind of tells like Poppy is still trying to figure out what he wants to be. Because canonically, he ran away to be part of the circus. So I imagine he wants to do everything. That's why the original title of the show is called Popee the Performer and not stuck onto one. But clowns don't typically stick to one thing. They do all kinds of stuff like juggling and all that. So I gave, as well with the clown makeup, I gave him like the little swirls on his cheeks, because that in Japanese culture, that is actually kind of a sign of like cutesy warmth, unless you read Junji Ito's Uzumaki, and it's a sign of doom, which is very fitting for his character as well. And other than that, I learned a lot of things about Papi. First off, Papi is actually his biological father. He's just really in denial about it. And I don't blame him. I mean, like, look at him. He looks like he should be on some sort of list. As well as Papi being his biological father, he actually has a sister. And not just a sister, a half-sister. Which means that Papi has Riz game to seduce Poppy's mother, and also another woman. I mean, like, the first time might be an accident, but the second time, oh god, the man is on the loose. And the other appearance that Poppy has made outside of Poppy the Performer is a manga high school AU called Chinchikurin, which means like short, stumpy person, but in the context of the manga, it means someone who's kind of falling behind in school, so someone who is a bit lacking. But other than that, here is Poppy the Performer in my design. I gave him a little bit of shiny blonde hair, because even though he has blonde hair, he is canonically Japanese. Up next is Papi, who is Poppy's biological father. Now, his design was a bit challenging for me because I wanted to incorporate the Harley Quinn outfit, but I also wanted to like make him look like a Harley Quinn. So in my first rendition of this design, I imagine he had a bit of like a ruffle that kind of resembles those iguanas that the Komodo dragon that like has like the collar of themselves to intimidate prey or predators that might try to get after them. But I quickly realized ruffles are hard to draw. So in my attempt to simplify Pappy's design, I tried to keep the two main colors intact, which is the orange and green, and keep the purple at a very low minimum. So I kind of moved the purple from his waist and his neck to his wrist, because I imagine it just complements his hands when he does magic tricks, because in the show he is considered the mentor or like the top dog in the circus. I made him look a bit more Japanese, not only because the show is from Japan, but because Papi is full Japanese. He must have had both of his parents to be actually Japanese. So if he was half Japanese, it would have been mentioned. So I made Pappy actually Japanese. The French mustache is actually just painted on there. He doesn't have that mustache. If you dunk him in water, that mustache is much gone. I kept, or at least gave an homage to the original sun hat that he has behind his head. I had so much difficulty trying to replicate it, and it looks more of a flower than the actual sun, which is kind of I would say a bit better, in my opinion. But other than that, it kind of makes him look like a flower more than a sun, which could be his motif, the sun and flowers being his thing. As you can tell from this clip right now, I am having difficulties trying to fit the diamond checkered pattern on him and still make it look good. I tried to put it on the top and the bottom. I tried to change the color of the top itself, and I still wanted to keep a sun on him, a second sun on his body, because it just looks like he's just a really big flower. And as you can tell, I'm doing the line art now, but later on I remember there is a grid brush on Procreate, so I kind of cheated a bit and tweaked it. Well, I used it and then I tweaked that layer to make it more diamond shaped and then placed it on the pants, so that I just have to color it in and I don't have to sacrifice my wrist to draw tiny little diamonds that I could just copy and paste over and over again. But I didn't want to be lazy. I wanted good quality for you guys because I care that much. And in the coloring process, I also gave Pappy that clown white face, because when you're in clown mode, you don't have human skin. You are clown. So, a few fun facts about Pappy is that I believe in a tweet, the creator accidentally, I wouldn't say accidentally, well, he did accidentally say that in a Pride tweet, he insinuated that Pappy might actually be intersex, as in he has both male and female genitals. And I thought that was a bit crazy, and then I remembered the weird episode where Papi couldn't sleep, and so Pappy put him in his stomach. Weird DeviantArt style, and pretended to be his mama as he knit him a blanket while sitting on a rocking chair, which gives a bit more context of what the hell that was, but still very fucking weird. And secondly, as I said before, for Papi actually has two children, which is Popee and Papi's little sister, which I don't remember her name at the moment, but I'll put it on the screen when I remember it. And in the manga, the AU school manga, it's canon that Pappy has no idea who the mother is. not that like he forgot about her, but there is a strong possibility that Papi has seduced so many women in the past and he simply forgot which mother matches to which child. He actually mistakes the daycare attendant for the mother of his daughter. So he either has a terrible memory or that he's just seduced so much women in the past, and no wonder his name is Papi. And you see the design here. He looks more like those acrobatic Japanese TV show, game show acrobatics, for lack of better words. He also kind of looks like a jogger of sorts with that little head cap thing I gave him, because Harley Quinns used to wear that to hide their hair, or at least tuck it in while they are performing. And it gives me the horrible idea that maybe underneath that cap, he has long black hair, like Finn the Human style, and it's just blowing. But I guess in early 2000s animation, you can really do that with CGI. So I like to imagine that's the case, because I am a weirdo like that, thinking about a weird man's hair. And last but not least, we have Kedamono, which literally means beast or animal in English. So I'm just gonna call him Kedo. So this could be the laziest one in my opinion, because drawing anthropomorphic animals or people like this kind of intimidates me. So I tried my best to keep it close to looking like a wolf, making him look like a wolf as possible. So I just gotta work around making a wolf and still make him look good. The first thing I did was change up his mask fit. Now I know the mask is very iconic, but it needed some shining up. At first I made it look more of the Oni mask in Japanese theater, minus all the horns and the decor, and just simply whittled it down, because he is kind of a monster, not because he's a wolf, but because his mother is the white wolf and she is scary. Like, will bring bomber planes to you to destroy you. And this could be the most controversial choice in this designs. I had to get rid of the shorts. The shorts made me feel a bit uncomfortable, knowing the fact that he is a wolf, but he's wearing pants. So does that mean that he's nips out the entire show? I was like, no, please. I know this is supposed to be a messed up kid show, but can you not? So I tried to give him the stars back, because that's kind of a big part of his character design, but later on I just swapped it for like a simple orange overall with 1 star, because, well, it just makes him a bit more sillier, because a wolf in overalls, that's a farmer thing. Wolves are kind of the opposite of farmers. They do not farm, they just eat. Which is very funny, because Kedamono's favorite food is fried chicken, so it kind of matches, because Kentucky Fried Chicken. And as you see, I kind of took off the ears and slimmed down his face to make him look more like the Scream photo. The painting, the famous painting. Because if I had kept the ears and a little bit of like cheeky on him, it kind of makes him look like a monkey, and that was not my intention. I just wanted to make him look a little bit sillier, and so I gave him kind of like almost googly eyes and eyebrows and a nose and a ooh face. I don't know why I said it like that. So I'm working on the overalls. Try to make sure it looks like overalls, because he is like in a hunchback position. He is canonically like around 4'8", 5 feet-ish, which I beat him in height because I'm about 5 feet tall, and it feels a bit weird that I'm a bit taller than a wolf. But other than that, I believe that we are done with these designs. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. I really hope that you enjoy it as much as I did. Please like and comment if you have any suggestions or ideas I might try to do in the future. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I am planning to make more videos like this in the future. And again, I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you! I would like to thank my patrons, which includes Tenexandric. And if you wish to support me for future projects and videos like these, make sure to give a click onto that link to Patreon and see if the tiers work for you. And if you don't have the money to support me on Tappa. My new webcomic Feed Your Vice, an anthology series based on the 7 Deadly Sins, will be released on August 19th. I hope to see you there soon. Bye-bye!